How much do you want to take off the length?
So notice now, once the length has been discussed and decided upon between me and my model, I then used a ruler on my comb to measure off exactly how much length we had talked about so that I can set the guideline right there. Notice too how the angle is away from the body so that I can establish softness on the ends. And how I'm using the flat of the tip of the blade to remove weight and add extra softness to the ends. And now notice how I use the edge of the blade to create more texture on the cutting edge. Now I'm using a combination between the flat of the blade and the tip of the blade as I over-direct the hair to the corner away from the shoulder to round the section just a tiny bit, but to remove weight. That's the key idea here, is to remove the weight so that the hair can move more. Now you'll see me use a triangulated section and introduce some asymmetry into the front portion. Here you can see my triangulated section as I parted it from the top, center top, and then the side. And as I cut it directly parallel to the side, it creates a nice shorter to longer feeling immediately. I'm using the flat tip of the blade to remove weight and to add a little bit of texture. All these sections eventually work their way to the same location so as to follow that or create a strong version of this angle. And here's a good preview of what that looks like when it's just let to fall. Now going back to my original triangulated bang, I'm taking a pair of Centrix 1660s and texturizing the ends, thinning the ends a bit so I can get a bit of movement out of the bangs. Her hair is very thick, and so in order for me to get that movement, I do need more texture. You're going to have to decide with each client what's going to work for them. Pre-selecting my sections, I am now going to twist them so that they are good and tight. Resting my flat of the blade on the hair, I then just gently add texture to each section.
What that's going to do,
Give you multi-layers, multi-lengths.
Phil,
Yeah.
so she gets her layer, but she's
Right.
going to get height.
Yes.
We like height.
That's what I need to do
That's
with my
good.
sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She loves her long,
Here's the key though.
all one length
If
hair,
it's
but-
not triangulated, it needs to be short squares. But it cannot be brick laid. If you brick lay it, then the pattern as it lays down is not going to be pretty. So twist this to the center of any given section.
Notice how I now use the previous section to set the guide for this section. I make sure I know where the length should end before I begin cutting.
Now in a section, I want to twist this
Towards the center. Gotcha, gotcha.
approximately the center because I want everything going in toward it.
Right.
Grab one of these older ones. That's how long I am.
Gotcha.
Okay, then I take this and go from here,
Straight edge in your pocket.
and I'm just going to here down.
You just hack at it for a while, Casey.
Just hack at that till it's all gone.
She'll grow right now.
Yeah.
You know
Actually,
that.
yeah, it's already
Yeah,
it'll
it's-
grown out by the blow dry.
Yeah.
Now, if she
And
wants
we're
to,
back.
we can go back in and we can layer all kinds of the length this way too. So,
Yeah.
it's super long and thick.
You'll notice that overall I don't go below the parietal ridge. I stay above the parietal ridge for all my sections that I'm adding texture. You can do that. If in fact I'm going to, I'll usually restrict the swing of the blade to the last third of hair or something of that nature. I don't like to over thin the length. I just don't like that. I want to add some very specific texturizing to the top now, and so I'm taking the whole top section, I'm going to direct it back, bring it back and toward myself. I'm not going to twist this section this time. I'm just going to take the tip of the blade and insert it in and just add a little bit more texture wherever I see that I want that. I can feel the areas that are too thick and I can see areas that are too thick. This will allow me to just pinpoint exactly what I want to remove. I'll do some refining by taking the section just behind the ear, bring it forward, the entire front section on the left and the right, bring it all forward, and then that will allow me to just add a little bit of layering on the interior portion of that so that it's a little bit more face framing, if you will. Not too short, but just enough to make some change there. And finally, I will add some refining layers to the back length by combing them all down. I'm not going to twist any of these sections. I'm just going to take from where I see my layering has ended, and I'm going to take and add just a little bit of a blending layer by gently putting my blade on the outer structure of the hair here and tying the two sections in just a little bit. Not too much, not too deep, just a tiny bit.